Hi everyone, today it's November 14th, Monday. Today it's the first day of the 2-week exam period. So for me, I studied 4 units this semester, and I only got 1 unit which have literally exam, as in like end of semester or whatever you call it, final exam in this exam period. The rest 3 of them are basically all assignment wise, and fortunately, luckily enough, my first, last and only exam of the semester, or aka of the year, it's today, and I already finished my exam just now in the afternoon. So that means end of exam, summer holiday begins. Yes, so I'm luckily fortunately enough to kick off my summer holiday, I guess, way earlier than my other friends, mates, whatsoever. And of course, to kick off the summer holiday here, it's to travel. But this time, I'm traveling internationally. Well, again, that means not interstate within New South Wales, not again interstate to elsewhere like ACT, Victoria, Tasmania, Queensland, South Australia, WA, or the NT. No, this time I'm actually traveling internationally again. So, because I'm from Hong Kong, as some of you guys might have been aware of earlier, I'm actually going back to Hong Kong, but I'm not directly going back to Hong Kong, because I'm gonna travel again Yolo solo for a bit in Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, then Hong Kong. So from Australia here, it's Singapore, then Malaysia, then Thailand, then finally back to Hong Kong. So why this route? Because Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, they all belong to Southeast Asian countries, which to some extent culturally similar to me. And also, if you notice, like geographically, it's like all the way, like continuously up north. So Australia to Singapore, it's up north. To Malaysia, it's up north. To Thailand, it's up north. Then back to where I am from, Hong Kong, it's also up north to some extent. So that's why, yes, I'm going back to Hong Kong, but not in like directly going back to Hong Kong, as I'm gonna spend several days. I will talk about that later. But anyway, I'm gonna spend some time internationally before going back to Hong Kong in Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand respectively. So again, today it's November 14th, Monday, and actually in 2 days time, well, less than 2 days time, in November 16th on Wednesday, I'm actually flying here from Sydney to Singapore. Then in Malaysia, I'm actually going to 2 places. One, it's Johor Bahru, or some people call it JB. Then Kuala Lumpur, some people like the capital, or some people call it KL. So after spending a couple of days in Singapore, on November 20th on Sunday, then I'm gonna go from Singapore to Malaysia, but to JB first. Then on November 22nd, Tuesday, then from JB to KL, then until November 25th, Friday, from KL to Bangkok, then finally November 29th, Tuesday, from Bangkok back to Hong Kong. So it's basically 14-day 13-night trip, which literally took me the second half of this month, around 2 weeks time, to travel to visit Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, before going back to Hong Kong. So why like apart from like Southeast Asia, culturally similar to some extent. Their COVID-19 border restrictions are kind of similar as well. So in the first part, I'm going to talk about Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand first, because it's easier for me to organize, and also for my viewers to follow through what are these countries or places COVID-19 restrictions is like. So to Singapore, if you don't want to be tested or or quarantine or so, you would need to be fully vaccinated. So fully vaccinated depends on which kind of dosage you got. For me, I got 3 doses of the Pfizer, which is more than enough, because Singapore defines fully vaccinated for Pfizer at least 2. I got 3, so I'm already good enough. And then as I am fully vaccinated, I can enter Singapore without any testing or quarantine measures. But you will need to do the SG arrival card, Singaporean arrival card, which is basically applicable to not only foreign travelers such as me, as I'm holding HKSAR passport, but also other, even Singaporeans as well. That needs to be done within 3 days of arrival into Singapore. That includes the day you apply and to the day of arrival. So as mentioned earlier, I will arrive Singapore in 2 days time, November 16th and Wednesday. That means I should have, and I've already done my SG arrival card today, November 14th, Monday. And that's for Singapore. And to Malaysia, like Singapore to Malaysia, even like, fun fact, geographically, Singapore and Johor is just like one river between, because, Singapore used to be part of Malaysia, but they got, okay, not to offend, but my understanding is Singapore got kicked out by Malaysia to be independent. But, Singapore to Johor, it's a bit like, Hong Kong to Shenzhen. But anyways, Singapore travel internationally to Malaysia by whatever means, from like 3-ish months ago, from August, I'm no longer required to fill out the pre-departure form, PDF, in, hopefully I pronounce in Malay correctly, my Sejahtera application, which is no test, vaccination and quarantine measures to travel internationally to Malaysia, and also travel within Malaysia as well. So basically no vaccination, testing, and quarantine requirements to travel internationally to Malaysia, and also domestically within Malaysia, because as mentioned before, I'm actually traveling from after Singapore to JB, then JB to KL. Then moving on to Thailand, I'm actually going to Bangkok. So whatever, from anywhere you go, Thailand, it's like in terms of COVID-19 restrictions, Thailand is pretty much similar as Malaysia internationally. There are no vaccination, testing, and requirements to enter Thailand, such as for me from Kuala Lumpur to Bangkok in this case. That means that regardless of vaccination status, whether you are fully vaccinated or not, or even some people, like I know some people who haven't received any dose of vaccination, COVID-19 vaccination yet, they can enter Thailand as well without testing and quarantine measures. So you can see it's pretty similar in terms of Malaysia and Thailand. There are no vaccination, testing, and quarantine requirements for internationally. Well, like even domestically within Malaysia as well. But for Singapore, the major difference is you will need to be fully vaccinated according to Singaporean definition. I am. If you're fully vaccinated, then you don't need to get tested or quarantined upon arrival in Singapore. However, like according to the internet, for the government internet, I will put the link in the description down below. If you are not fully vaccinated, if I'm correct, you need to get tested before you fly, either PCR or RAT, and then you should have like a travel insurance if you are not fully vaccinated. But again, I'm already fully vaccinated, so I can enter Singapore without insurance, without testing, without quarantine. So that's the first bit of the COVID-19 restrictions to Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. And then going back to Hong Kong, well, Hong Kong previously has been pretty restrictions with China in they want to cope with a COVID-0, but like Hong Kong finally delay no more, realize it's not gonna work in reality. So Hong Kong actually opened its border already, which allows yes, finally quarantine travel. So as in for now, if you're flying to Hong Kong, you will need, as I'm a Hong Kong resident, you don't need to be fully vaccinated, but like I am anyway, then yes, you still need to do COVID-19 test before you fly, but it's RAT only instead of PCR. You can do within 24 hours before my flight to Hong Kong, like from Bangkok. You can do with a professional swab sampling, like if you want to do in those community testing centers or clinics, whatever you call it. Maybe if in my case in Bangkok, or you can do self-administered. That means you can do it by yourself instead of paying like shits of money just for the rent. It's not worth it, right? And the website says can be self-administered or professional swab sampling. Of course, you're gonna administer yourself. Yes, so you need to get negative COVID-19 test. You can do, of course, by yourself within 24 hours of your flight into Hong Kong. Then upon arrival into Hong Kong, you still need to do heaps of COVID-19 tests. So once you arrive into Hong Kong, like your flight, you need to do a arrival test. That is PCR arrival test. When after your flight to Hong Kong, like for me from Bangkok in my case, but you don't need to wait for the PCR result. You can clear immigration, get your bags, and then go straight home. No more whatsoever hotel quarantine or so. Then okay, so arrival test you need to do, and then for the coming 3 days. So this is really important because November 29th, like your day of arrival, such as my case, November 29th, Tuesday, it's day zero. For the next 3 days, that means November 30th, Wednesday to December 2nd, Friday. For the first 3 days, you will need to subject to the amber code restrictions under vaccine pass, which is like pretty annoying, until like 9 a.m. of day 3, such as my case, December 2nd, Friday morning. Then it will change to, I think, blue code restrictions, but I will let you guys leave it for the description down below. But okay, talking about the COVID-19 test, apart from the arrival test at the airport, so for the coming 7 days, that is from day 1, November 30th, a Wednesday, to December 6th, December 6th, Tuesday, you need to do daily RATs. So you need to do 7 RATs in total after you arrive into Hong Kong. And on days 2, 4, and 6, that is December 1st, 3rd, and 5th, Thursday, Saturday, and Monday. In my case, you need to go to those centers, community clinics, to do PCR respectively. So basically, when you arrive into Hong Kong, you need to do 11 COVID-19 tests in total, 1 PCR at the airport, and then 7 daily RAT, from the day after you arrive. So because 29th November, Tuesday, is day 0, then the next day is counted as day 1. So that's already 1 plus 7 equals 8. And then finally to PCR, you need to do your own PCR on day 2, 4, 6. So that's 3 times. So 1 plus 7 equals 8, and 8 plus 3 equals 11. Yes, you need to do a whopping fucking total of 11 inclusive of RAT and PCR COVID-19 tests when you arrive in Hong Kong, which is pretty complicated. That it's already combination of according to the Hong Kong government terms, medical surveillance and self monitoring requirements. So after going back to Hong Kong, I think I'm gonna spend for around 2-ish months, because next semester, 2023 semester 1 will begin on as things stand on next year, right? It's February 20th, like from that week. I haven't actually bought the flight ticket from Hong Kong back to Sydney yet, but I should arrive like at some time like late slash February next year. But pretty much as long as you have a valid visa, I am, because like Hong Kong SAR passport with my student visa, you can basically enter Australia. You don't need to do the digital passenger declaration DPD before your flight. You don't need to show proof of COVID-19 vaccination, and obviously there are no like testing and quarantine requirements before and arriving to Australia. In this case, Sydney, where I am from. So that's a wrap of the my preview of the this preview of my long time no overseas, like inclusive to Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Hong Kong, and Australia, or particularly for this coming trip. My Yolo solo trip before going back to Hong Kong is my 18th, also the 10th in the midst of COVID-19. Internationally, second time to Australia and beyond will be my second time to Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. And to repeat, today it's November 14th, Monday. In 2 days time, November 16th and Wednesday, I'm flying from Sydney to Singapore. Then on November 20th, Saturday, I'm going to Singapore to Malaysia, but in JB first. Then on November 22nd, Tuesday, I'm going domestically from JB to KL. Then on November 25th, Friday, from KL to Bangkok. Then finally, November 29th, Tuesday, from Bangkok back to Hong Kong. And then next year sometime mid/late February from Hong Kong back to Sydney. I will put the descriptions for entry requirements to Singapore, Malaysia. That includes domestic one, Thailand, Hong Kong, and Bangkok as well. Because I'm traveling internationally, I'm not using international roaming. I already got my SIM card that includes data usage in Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. And also, of course, different currencies. You need to change, get some cash change for Singaporean dollar, that is SGD, Malaysian ringgit MYR, and Thai baht THB. Hopefully, I pronounce in Malay and Thai correctly. But anyway, that's the end of this preview video. Overseas to Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, then Hong Kong, and Bangkok, or particularly for this my Yolo solo trip 18.0. In the midst of COVID-19, I travel 10.0 times to Australia and beyond 2.0 times Singapore 2.0 times Malaysia 2.0 times Thailand 2.0. Hopefully this video will be helpful for you guys if you are about to travel to those mentioned countries or places respectively and or whatsoever. I already put the link in the description down below, but still if I have made some statement which is wrong, please correct me. But should be correct, because this video it's with reference to those relevant websites. So hopefully you guys will enjoy the content by not only give a like to this video and follow this channel, and also my other platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat and Twitter, so you guys won't miss out. And that's a wrap. Join me on my flight from here, Sydney Kingsford Smith, to Singapore Changi in 2 days time on November 16th, Wednesday. See ya.